Hello, 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 and welcome to another afternoon of Eden Method Learning. I feel so privileged to be here. My name is Kim Wedman, and I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Actually, in the United States of America, I live on a lake in Kansas City, a lake called Weatherby Lake. It's about 300 acres. And it's a lovely place to be, especially since I am self-quarantined. Actually, I'm fine, but we're all in this boat together, right? We're all just staying at home and being here and making the best of it. And I feel so honored to have this opportunity to share what it is that I know, that I've been trained in for so many years, because I think it can be a real service for each and every one of us. But before we get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about me and how I got to this little spot that I'm in. A long time ago in the 80s is when my husband and I went to Ashland, Oregon and met Donna Eden. And we both had sessions with her. She was still practicing at that time. And that day, I'll never forget, we fell madly in love with both of us. And we went on to meet the rest of her family that evening. We stayed the weekend, and I just realized that that work that she was doing with us was my life's work and what it was that I wanted to learn. And I wanted to do everything I could to learn it. So I followed her around like a little puppy dog wherever she was teaching, to just take any classes that she was teaching and learn it in whatever way I could, which was a lot through osmosis. It was way before the book was written, and it was before we had the certification program, which now I'm so proud to say that I'm one of the charter faculty members for our 4-year certification program in the Eden Method. And I'm also an advanced practitioner, so I can teach at any level of the 4-year program. And I also have clients and see people for private sessions. All the things that we do within Eden Energy Medicine, I really feel that I've had the opportunity to experience. And today, I get to share with you some things that I think will be beneficial along the lines of what's happening in the world today. We really are in a new territory, and we are all experiencing this way of living that's a little bit different than our normal routines. And I think that it creates great deals of stress for people, because whenever there's big change, I think that the human being goes kicking and screaming into most changes. So these tools that I'm going to share with you will help just bridge that stress, that feeling of anxiety. Oh, excuse me. I am off the screen, or if I'm somewhere, I don't see anything. What happened? Bye. Hello, what happened? Huh.
We can see you, Kim. You can just keep going.
Oh, okay, thank you. How do I, okay. Sorry about that. I wonder, I guess I can't see you, right?
Right, we can see you.
Pardon me?
We can see you, so just keep going.
So is there any, okay, but I can't see a thing. Okay, well, this will be interesting. So, what I'd like you all to do right now with me is something that will help get me centered, utilizing Eden Energy Method tools. Because all of a sudden the Zoom is gone for me and I can't see any of you. I can't even see me. So I'm just going to speak to an empty screen. And that's a little, just like what I was just saying, we go kicking and screaming into any kind of change. Well, here I am. So I'm going to actualize the tools right this very second. I would like all of us to do something called a hookup. And I know that you all have done this if you've been watching these different sessions each day, because several of my colleagues have been sharing some of the same things that I was planning on sharing with you. But right now, let's go ahead and just put your finger, find your belly button, just find your belly button and put your finger right there in your belly button and put your other finger right here between your eyebrows. Just lightly between your eyebrows, and then pull up slightly. You are connecting two meridians called the central meridian, which starts at your pubic bone and goes straight up through the center of your body and connects at the back of your throat, but actually right here under your lip. And you're also connecting the governing meridian, which starts at the base of your spine, goes over your head, and connects also at the back of your throat. So it's like a big egg of energy. And this is very calming and centering. And that's why I wanted you to do it with me right then, so I could kind of get my bearings again and figure out what I'm going to do from here. The centering was what I really needed. So while you're holding this, if you feel yourself, take a sigh, like a deep breath. Like that, you're all ready to let go, and you're centered and ready to continue. So for me, that came a little bit earlier than I was planning on teaching you. But we'll just move into some of these tools right now, because I think you have enough information about me and how I got here, and that I'm actually, I guess you can see, I'm in my own office. This is my room in my home that I practice in, and I have my two-dimensional office right next door. So it's such a privilege for me to live in my home with the view of this beautiful lake. And for me, it's like a sanctuary to be able to have the public come here and me work with them and teach classes and all of those things and live right here in my home in the middle of the United States. So after we do that hookup, it literally connects you into your microcosmic orbit. It's kind of this whole big energy field that surrounds you. And I visualize it, which I think I've already said, as kind of an egg going around me. And once I hook into that energy, it helps calm me. I use it when I think I'm going to go give a speech, or I'm going to go jump out of the car and I've got to go present something, or I just need to be on my game really quickly. I will hook up. Or if I'm going into a crowded room where I don't really know what's going to happen in there, or if people are sick, or I just want to protect myself quickly, I hook up. So I want you to remember that one. It's super, super simple. It's also extremely beneficial if you're working with anyone, which I hope you never have this opportunity to work with, that's having a seizure. This has happened to me, and it also happened to my husband, and it was astounding how powerful it was and how it brought the person that he actually hooked up that was in a full grand mal seizure. He hooked them up because he remembered that that's something that we do, and that person came within seconds out of that seizure. So remember this plain, simple thing. That's the wonderful thing about the Eden method is Donna created all these tools because she could see how energy moved in her body. And that's how she healed herself, or that's how she worked with her own energies to balance her physical body. And while she was doing that, she came up with all these really simple tools, and many of them are very old. You know, some of them go way back into ancient books and all kinds of readings that you can find similar ways of working with ourselves. But we're bringing these all forward and teaching them so you can use them because they're so simple, and they empower you to gain balance within your own body. So the next thing that I actually want to do that I think is a really good idea now, since I can't see a thing, is we're going to open up our head bones. This is the crown pull. So what I'd like you to do is take your 4 fingers, set them right here in between your eyebrows, and push in and pull apart, and push in and pull apart. What you're doing when you do this is you're helping to open up the energy that gets really tight in your head. This is great for headaches. Your brain sits in subcutaneous fluid, and it sits there, and lots of times if you think too much and you get too intense and you're too stressed, it's like it tightens all up and it doesn't float freely. So to help open that energy up, I'd like you to do something with me right now that I call the crown pull, where you put your fingers right here so they're touching each other, and you push in and you pull apart, not very far, just a half an inch. And then you move up to your hairline and you push in and you pull apart. And then you move up a little further and you push in and you pull apart. And you continue all the way through the back of your head. Okay, so I don't know if you can see me, but I'm going to turn around and I'm hoping that you can. You push in and pull apart. You push in and pull apart. And again, all the way down to the nape of your neck. Using pressure, push in and pull apart. Push in and pull apart. You might even feel a little tingling. You might even feel tenderness. If you do, it's good for you. Keep doing it because you're opening up space in your head for your brain to float in a good way. So all kinds of things that happen in our brains and in our body can continue to happen in a more balanced way instead of a tight, closed down situation. That's what you want to do is you're pulling the energy. It's excellent for headaches, and it's just a really good basic thing to do. So now I'd like you, because I think it's probably a good time for you to learn this, is I'm going to talk about something that is a little bit different, but it's really valuable for this time frame. It's actually valuable for any time frame. And once we've done the hookup and we've done the crown pull, we've opened up our head a little bit, I want to talk now about something else that still is going to be relating to our head, but it's also going to relate to the rest of our body. So I didn't get a chance to tell you what I wanted to tell you right when the Zoom changed, which was to give you a little bit of an outline of where I'm going. I'm teaching you tools for you to use on your body. We're going to start with working with the head area, then we're going to move through the body, and then we'll end back up on the head. But they're all simple, and I don't want you to get caught up in feeling like, uh-oh, I can't remember this, I can't remember that. If I understand correctly, this will be taped, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube or whatever over and over and over again. But also remember that you have been learning some of these things from some of my other colleagues. And each day, even if we're repeating some of the things that we're showing you, you'll learn it again, just a slightly different way, or maybe exactly the same way. But the more you see it, and the more you try it, and the more you do it, you will notice something in your body. You will notice an awareness that you might not realize is there, an aliveness. This energy that we work with bridges your body into more healthful ways of living. It's not so much that you have to think the right thought. Sometimes just by doing a hookup or opening up your head, it helps you feel like you feel lighter and you choose better thoughts. So back to where I was going to go next, which is the wind points. I want to teach you about something that happens when, have you ever had the opportunity, not the opportunity, have you ever had the experience where you're walking through a department store, or you're just about to go into a business meeting and you felt great sitting in your office. You get up to go into the business meeting and you're walking through and you realize, uh-oh, I get a sore throat. Or, uh-oh, I feel a headache coming on. Or, uh-oh, all of a sudden I don't feel right. Well, that happens because you are living in this spacesuit of energy. We call it our auric field. There's always these different layers of energy that are outside our physical body that protect us and do all kinds of supportive things for us. And one of the words that we use to talk about that field is called the aura. And so as you're walking, your aura goes in front of you and behind you and on the sides of you. But it also takes in energy from the environment. And sometimes your immune system or part of your immune system can be a little bit off balance. And there are doorways that are on your physical body that I'm going to share with you. For lack of a better term, we call them doorways. And they're places in your body that literally, if you know where they are, you can close them really quickly, really quickly. I'll show you where they all are, and you can stop the onset of some kind of an illness. You really can. The reason I wanted to share these with you today is because this is one of my favorite tools. They're called the 5 mischiefs in Chinese medicine, or the 5 disruptive forces. That the name is not as relevant as just learning the points and where they are, and knowing that energy can fly in through like tiny little cracks. Like, to give you an idea of how it happens, sometimes you close the window in your house and it's a really windy day, and normally you don't feel any air at all coming through the windowsill, but on that really windy day you go, you hear that whoosh, and you actually feel air coming through those cracks that aren't totally sealed. Well, that's like what happens in these doorways. Is you walk through an energy field in your environment that has maybe more toxic energy in it than in your office or wherever you were. And those doorways are open and you're vulnerable. And so what happens is that energy just fills the space. It just flies in like the wind into your physical body, and you begin to feel out of balance. So that's why we're going to work with these things called the wind points. Right here is a diagram of the different points. I hope you can see that. It's just the chart of what we call the wind entrance points. Okay, and now I'm going to show them to you, so you can just work with them. It's not precise as far as, oh, I've got to do it exactly right. Just go where it's tender. Right here at the top of your head, this is that soft spot that you have. Remember when you're a baby, you've probably heard the word the fontanelle spot, or that soft spot. They always say when babies are born, be careful of that soft spot at the top of their head. It's like the last spot that closes down from when you were out in your mama's womb and you weren't part of this world quite yet. And yet still where you're still connected out there in the world, out there in the ethers. So that spot, you want to make sure that it's nice and closed down. And there's a lot of other meridians and neurovascular points, which are points that relate to the meridians, that can be balanced by massaging this point. The meridians, I'm not sure if you know what those are. Those are pathways. We have 14 of them that move throughout the entire body. They're electromagnetic energy fields, and they govern all kinds of things. Ligaments, tendons, muscles, organs, cells, everything that is physical in the body. The meridians have all kinds of jobs. And they work with the heart energy. They work with circulation. They work with all kinds of things to help your body stay in balance. So we work with those meridians in this work a tremendous amount. So the neurovascular points relating to central meridian and gallbladder meridian and liver meridian and heart are all right up here. So if you massage that point right up there, if it's tender, you need it. Some more points that I want you to remember are right here on your occipital ridge, which is the skull bone. Go to where your skull stops and it starts to dip down. All along that occipital ridge, there's different points in there that relate to those doorways. So if you just massage all those places along that bony part of your skull, you'll close those doorways down. And then if you just go right here behind your ear, this is a real important one that relates to fight or flight. And another one on the other side. So just all around the base of your neck, just wherever it's tender, just massage deeply in there, you'll be fine. And then the next place is you want to push in right here at the top of your shoulder. This point, have you ever had somebody come up and grab your shoulders and you went, ah? Because those points right here are really tender if you push in deeply. Push in real deeply there. These are more doorways. So we're here, we're on the ridge of our skull, right underneath our ears, kind of behind at the back sides of our neck, anything that's tender, right here, on the tops of our shoulders. And now the next spot is the palms of your hands. And you don't have to do it fancy. Just use your thumbs and just open up your hands, open them up. Or you could even just clench your hands because you're also getting a large intestine point right here that will open up and help to close down those doorways to keep you stronger when you're in times where you're compromised, where your immune system is compromised. The last couple of points, one of them is right back here on your knee, behind your knee, right back here. So you're just going to rub right behind your knees. You can just sit, if you're sitting with me now in the chair, and you can just rub behind your knees. Okay? And the last points are on your feet, right here on your foot. This is liver 3. This is another one of those pathways I was telling you about called meridians. And this is the beginning of the liver meridian pathway. But it is a doorway, and it's right here, just where your toes kind of stitched to your feet. There's a little webbing place right there between your second toe and your first toe. And if you go back about 1.5 inches and push in, that's where you want to be. That's what you want to close down. And do the same thing on the other side. The same thing. So these are the wind points. And I really wanted to share those with you today so you would have them. You don't have to understand too much, except you need to know they're doorways that let toxic energy into your body when you don't want it in. And you just have to massage them, tap, 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 massage, 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 behind your knees, on your shoulders, the palms of your hands. You can even open up the bottoms of your feet if you would like, if that feels good. I'm going to show you something else with your feet in a little bit, but the last place is on the top of your head. Those are the wind points, right? So I hope that's helpful for you, and we're going to go on and share a few more things. I'd like now, since we've opened up, we've worked with these doorways and we've closed those down so our system can continue staying in balance and not get too inundated by the toxins that might have tried to be blown in on the wind. I'd like us to work in this upper area because we are all so vulnerable right now with what's going on in the world today that I think with the stresses of our lives and the containment that we are experiencing creates new anxieties and new stresses and maybe even new sadnesses. And so our lungs, which could be compromised with that kind of experience, Our lungs actually sit on an element called the metal element, which is one of the 5 elements, which is in Chinese medicine how we understand a lot about how our bodies move in the world and how we can work with our meridians through these 5 elements. So with the metal element, it actually has an emotion connected to it that is grief or letting go. It's even related to the seasons. It happens at the end as we move from summer into fall and things start dying back and everything starts letting go. That is that metal element. And the lungs, the energy of the lungs sit in that place. So you can feel a deep amount of sadness, and it can really affect how efficiently your lungs work. I think a really good example, which well, let's just work with these right now because they really help to just open them up. So I want you to go right here to your collarbone, and you'll drop down to the first intercostal space, and you'll feel this sternum here. That first intercostal space is actually the end of another meridian called the kidney meridian, which also helps with detoxifying your body and helps clearing out the toxins that you don't want to have in your body, and it helps dump it into the bloodstream. So we can massage those, but we also want to move down to the sternum, which is right here, this main breastbone. Move down to the next intercostal space, and I'd like you to really massage nice and deep in there. These are lung points and gallbladder points. And again, they're going to help to really enhance and stimulate the energy that's moving through your lungs. And that, at this point in time, is really important to strengthen. Just breathing, getting fresh air is really important to your health and your overall body and your immune system, and stimulating these points help the lung organs work even better. So rake your fingers through here. Just rake them through here. All of that. If it's tender on you, you really need it. I hope you've seen this in some of the other sessions because this is really helpful right now. Little tiny figure 8s, pushing in with firm pressure using whatever finger you want, going all the way up until you touch right below your collarbone. And that, shake your hands off. That is a great way to help open the energy in your upper torso. While we do that, I'm actually going to want you to do something like this. You guys remember Tarzan? Remember when he would do that? And then he would grab those ropes and he would swing from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Well, he would do this because he's stimulating his thymus, which it governs part of your immune system. And he's also just enhancing the strength of his whole body in that moment. So his body is ready to take on some stress. You want to keep this energy flowing throughout your whole torso. If you feel places that are tender, move them. One of the first principles of energy is to move. And so if you feel something that feels like something that could be like a tumor or some hard little place, that makes you nervous, then of course don't go into that. Just use your own intuition and your own common sense. But truly, throughout this area, you have a lot of lymph that helps move toxins out of the body and into the bloodstream. And one of the ways that it moves it is through percussion. So by stimulating things that are tender, you actually help move the energy and help support your body. So along with what we just did with the lung area and the thymus, we also talked a little bit about the kidney meridian right here. And that really helps stimulate that release of energy that you don't need and flush it out through the bloodstream. And drink lots of water when you start stimulating your lymphatic system because you're helping your body release those toxins. The last one that I'm going to show you before we move off the body, we move a little bit further down the body, is right here. right here. This is a spleen point. Right underneath your breastbone, there is a spleen point. And I want you to tap right there, really firmly. See, I'm tapping pretty firm because I want that energy to move. So just stimulate that spleen energy. If it's tender, you really need it. So there's this one, this one, this one, and then you're gonna, those are 3 points. This is spleen, thymus, kidney, and then all those little tiny points along your sternum work for your lungs. So all of these things move the energy and help keep your immune system strong. That's what these things that I'm sharing with you are about today. We wanted to close off some of the doorways so as you move through life, and if you have to leave your home and go out in the world, maybe you can work with these doorways before you go to help keep your body stronger and safer. And then just every day by doing your hookup, your crown pull, and tapping on these points, you're going to help strengthen and keep your whole integrity of your immune system strong. I'm just going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to be done for the day. But this is a really important one because you want to, there's so many people that are, it's so stagnant right now. You know, we're sitting at home and we're working on our computers, or we're watching television to take our mind away from things, or we're not as mobile as we might be at other times of our lives. And so it's really important that you connect your upper body to your lower body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stand up and I'm going to move this chair. And I'm going to stand right here. And I'd like you to take your hand right here and put it right here on the side of your waist, just like that. And take your other hand and bring it back around so it's on top of that hand. And drag it, just like that. Drag it over and across the midline. Continue to do that. What's happening is you have magnetites in your hands. Your hands actually have a lot of energy, and they're helping to open up the field of energy through your waist. So as you do this, things can start moving from the upper body to the lower body. Now, after you've done that several times, you want to come straight across the midline, take both of your hands, stay connected to your legs, and go down your legs and pull the energy off your feet. Pull the energy off your feet, okay? And then you want to do the same thing on the other side. This wrist doesn't work exactly right, so I'm just making it work in the way that I can, which is what I want you to always do with energy. Energy doesn't care. It doesn't have to be precise. However you interpret these different tools that we're teaching you to use, if you don't feel like you're doing them right, but you kind of think you're doing them right, you are. So now, same thing, we're connecting the upper body with the lower body, and we're dragging the energy over to the opposite side and down the other leg and off the feet. You want to pull the energy off the feet and shake your hands. And shake your hands. All right, dear ones, it was certainly a pleasure. I feel so privileged to get to share a few things with you today. There are so many, many, many things that you can learn to help yourself, to move your energy, to stay grounded, to feel solid and safer moving through this time. I hope you'll join us every day, because we'll have teachers here throughout the month, every day, sharing their wisdom and sharing what they want to bring to you that they know has worked for them. So I'd also like you to know that if you'd like to dive deeper into this energy, we have a free hour-long class. And the way you access it is freeclass.edenmethod.com. That's freeclass.edenmethod.com. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you could see me. And until we meet again, namaste.